Chapter 1. Taking Care of Business. Socialism never took root in America because the poor see themselves not as an exploited proletariat, but as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. John Steinbeck. Our culture's current dominant narrative is named here as the business perspective, but it has to do with much more than commerce. The business perspective dominates the role and functioning of our major institutions: government, democracy, international relations, urban planning, real estate, social equity, and social services. This narrative also defines our culture and how we live together. The term business perspective is useful because it does not blame anybody. It defines the structure and direction of such fields of interest as journalism, architecture, religion, neighborhood, and more. It sets the context for how we work on such common concerns as education, the environment, our health and safety, social equity, and our isolation. We have been looking for the business promise of better management, control, and blueprints to work in these areas of concern. The business perspective, at its core, is attracted to modernity, which is about what is new and what is next. This narrative requires proof of where something is working and asks, before anything else, how much does it cost? How long will it take? And is it replicable? These questions commodify us and keep the system in place, even though they promise transformation. No longer the alternative. In the dominant narrative of the business perspective, concerns for what fully serves our well-being but has no commercial or political value are treated as exceptions and alternatives. Alternative health, alternative economy, alternative education, alternative journalism. As for concerns about racism and racial equity, mainstream thinking in this narrative funds training programs for diversity, inclusion, and equity rather than investing directly in the redistribution of land and valuing the human assets in all of our neighborhoods. We offer efforts at economic justice through community benefit agreements, opportunity zones, and the Community Reinvestment Act, but these efforts are implemented in a way that is either lip service or widens wealth disparities. We can no longer live by having what we value most considered an alternative world. Too many of us are weary of remaining human interest stories in the local section of the news, of being reported on only in crises, of never being the lead story in the evening news, only a feel-good upbeat note before signing off. Advocates for the common good are accused of being idealists. When we choose to affirm cooperation and focus on people's gifts and what is collectively working, we are considered touchy-feely types, in contrast to realists. Reality is the selling point of commerce and cynicism. Getting real is always the argument that results in nothing shifting. Realism, as it is used, however, rests on the belief that self-interest is who we are. So much of what constitutes this dominant business narrative, with Adam Smith as a major voice, declares that self-interest, materialism, and being competitive constitute reality. Darwin reported on cooperation as the basis of evolution, yet what was extracted from his work was the survival of the fittest, namely the most competitive.